They say the bridge has a pulse. Stand close enough to the Mystic River Bascule Bridge when it's lifting, and you can feel it. A low, metallic vibration that hums through the railings and up into your hands. The gears grind, the steel moans, and for a second, it almost sounds alive. When I was a kid, I thought it was the bridge breathing. My father worked down near Water Street, and sometimes when the bridge went up, we'd stand there together, watch the tall ships glide underneath. He'd tell me stories about the river, how the whole town used to smell like tar and salt, how sailors swore they saw things in the fog. But the story that stuck with me was the one he wouldn't tell. The one about the pig man. He'd just shake his head and say, "That was before your time," and walk away, which, of course, only made me more curious. The legend goes that sometime in the 1970s, on a summer night when the air hung heavy with rain, a man was seen standing on the bridge. Not just any man. A big man, broad-shouldered, dressed in torn work clothes, and on his head, a pig's mask. Well, maybe it wasn't a mask. Depends who you ask. The story says there was a woman with him, that they were arguing by the railings, voices carrying over the water. A few witnesses swore they saw him grab her, drag her down to the shoreline, hold her under the water until she drowned. They found her body in the river days later. No one ever found him. After that, folks stopped walking the bridge after sundown. For weeks, flowers and candles gathered by the railings, then disappeared, one by one. And when the talk started up about the mask, the argument, the thing some said wasn't human at all, something in Mystic seemed to change. The laughter got quieter. The nights got longer. People said it was a prank or some sick ritual, that he was a spirit from the marsh coming to teach us a lesson. By the time I was a teenager, the pigman had become a dare. Drive over the bridge after midnight. Look into the water when the tide's high. If you see bubbles rising, don't stop. Don't lean over, because that's how he finds you. The summer I turned 17, I did it. My friends and I were heading back from a bonfire out on the point. The bridge was closed for the night. No traffic, just the hum of street lamps and the slow slap of water against the pylons. Someone dared me to walk across. I was trying to impress a girl, so of course I did. Halfway across, I heard it. A noise that didn't belong. Not wind, not water. Breathing. It was coming from below the bridge. Heavy and wet. Like something dragging through the shallows. I leaned over the railing. The river was dark, but I could see movement. Ripples spreading out in slow circles. Then from the corner of my eye, something pale rose up from the water. A face, or what looked like one. Pinkish, smooth, the skin slick and hairless. Two black eyes staring up at me through the mist. And a mouth, too wide, too human, opening as if to speak. I stumbled back, almost fell. When I looked again, it was gone. Just the current and the bridge's reflection shimmering on the surface. My friends said I imagined it. I told myself the same thing. But I could never really believe it. People still talk about the pigman sometimes, quietly, in diners and bars, when the fog rolls in thicker than usual. They say he still keeps watch over the river, over that woman he drowned. But I don't think he ever left. Because I don't think he was just one man. I think he's what the town became after that night. The fear that settled in and never really left us. The grief that hung in the air long after the news stopped printing her name. Mystic wears its sorrow well. Coats of paint, flowers in the windows, boats rocking gently on the tide. But if you stand on that bridge long enough, you can still feel it. That slow, heavy breath rising from below. Not the breath of a monster. The breath of a town remembering.
Amanda, did you remember to charge your cell phone?
No, it's at
Okay.
1%. But
Well-
Deena, did you remember the flashlights?
Of course I did. I've been planning this week for how long?
Okay, guys, we're finally doing this. We are finally sitting around a campfire about to tell some of the creepiest stories we've heard this month.
And I'm not even looking forward to this because urban legends, like, this could be real.
I think it is
Yeah,
real.
I don't like that. Yeah, because it could be real, and it might be real. And we're sitting in the middle of the woods, and that's terrifying. And by
You got-
woods, I mean studio?
Okay, the lights are off. That's all I need. I told you I'm afraid of the dark anyway.
Okay.
And by campfire, we have some candles in the center of us, but
There's
the
a roaring
vibe-
fire.
The vibe is happening.
There's crackling embers.
I just put another log on the fire.
Exactly. Did you guys ever see the movie Urban Legends that came out back in the day?
No.
Yeah. Yes.
Like late 90s, like possibly
Yes.
2000. Like, okay, I had to rewatch it before this
Mm.
we recorded this episode because it's basically about this killer that is killing in the order of these very famous urban legends, right?
Okay. Like a copycat kind of thing?
Yeah, Joshua Jackson was in it, like all these like
Ooh, okay.
staple
Mm.
WB characters back in the day. And it just really gets me thinking, like, how many different places have the same story, right? And we're talking about Connecticut right now. So that took me on a deep rabbit hole. They had their own little version of a hook man. They have their own white lady, right? But they got some other really creepy ones.
Creepy
do.
ones.
Yeah.
Really do.
And that's why sitting here, I'm gonna man my flashlight. I'm gonna dean this out.
Yeah.
You might hear me scream like a little girl.
Wrap that blanket around.
Okay.
All right.
Because the pig man, I don't know, that set a tone.
That's the
Set a tone.
beginning. That's just
Yeah.
the beginning.
Just the beginning.
Yeah, that's just setting this experience for everybody. All right. So I'm going to dive in because this is the story that I was told. And
You heard it from a guy who heard it from a guy?
yeah, I heard
Who
it
knows a guy?
from many, many people, different versions of this story. And this is the version I'm going to tell.
Setting the vibes.
It's like crunching leaves.
Wait, what's the Halloween one?
Dun 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 dun
No,
dun.
then
dun,
it's
dun,
not. It's
dun,
maybe
dun,
it's
dun,
Friday
dun,
the 13th. What it is like
I want it to be, are you afraid of the dark, where you throw the sand on the fire? And it's like,
Yes. Okay, so just envision that.
this is the story. Go ahead,
Of.
Dayelle. It's your moment. It's your moment. I'm sorry. I have to tell jokes when I get nervous.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay.
Just-
Now you made me nervous.
I know. Don't look behind you.
They say before Dracula ever crossed an ocean, before anyone had ever heard of Salem, there was a tiny town in Connecticut where the dead didn't stay dead. They called the town Griswold, a quiet place tucked between the trees where the nights were longer than they should have been, and the ground didn't always rest easy. No one remembers exactly when the whispers started, only that it began with a single family, the Rays. It was said that one by one they wasted away, pale as milk, too weak to leave their beds. Some said they could hear the brothers coughing through the walls at night, a slow hollow sound that went on until it didn't. When the last sun started to fade, the neighbors grew scared. They said something was feeding on the Rays, not from outside the house, but from beneath it. So on a cold March morning, the men gathered in the cemetery. The sky grew gray. The earth was still frozen, and yet they dug. They said when the coffins were opened, one of the bodies didn't look like the others. His face was too full, his skin too pink. His heart still looked whole. No one spoke for a moment until an old man whispered one word: vampire. They burned the heart right there in the graveyard. Some say the smoke rose in the shape of a man. Others swear they heard screaming, but no one could tell if it came from the living or the dead. After that day, the sickness stopped, but the town was never the same. People swore they saw lights dancing between the gravestones after dark. Little flickers that moved like fireflies, but colder. Dogs refused to go near the Ray's house, and sometimes, on quiet nights, folks walking home from the mill said they heard coughing in the wind, coming from the direction of the cemetery. Years passed, the earth settled, mostly, but the legend didn't die. Griswold became known as the vampire town. Kids dared each other to run through the cemetery at night, to touch the Ray gravestones, and see if their fingers came away cold. Some never made it past the gate. And then, one day, someone digging in the woods found another grave. The skeleton's head had been cut off and placed on the top of its legs, like a warning. No one knows who it was or what kept it from rising. These days, the graves are covered in moss. The stones lean with age. But if you visit the cemetery after dark, they say you can still see the dirt shifting, just slightly, like something underneath is breathing. People leave garlic, crosses, and notes on the gravesite. And the notes say, "Rest now." But maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's never really rested. So if you ever find yourself driving through Griswold on a foggy night and you see a flicker of light moving between the trees, don't stop. Don't get out. Because in Griswold, they say the dead still remembers who disturbed them, and they've been waiting for someone new to join them.
All right, Dayelle.
I don't like it.
So this story is very loosely based on the Jewett City vampires.
Because I was like, Griswold.
Yes. Is
that a real place?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It reminds me of
Griswold family Christmas.
Yeah, I was like, I can't. I lost it with that. I was like, try and ignore it. Focus on the story.
Yep.
And then Clark plugged in the lights.
Yeah, exactly. But you know what? To be fair, it had to be a little bit not super scary for me to tell it. So,
but you know, it also reminded me of the vampire story that we heard. Was it in Colorado?
Mm-hmm.
Just that one random vampire that, you know, allegedly that was there that had come from, I think, Romania, and then people were all like,
yes,
"Oh,
yes.
this." What?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that they were like, "This has to be a vampire."
Mm-hmm.
And Vladimir, I think his name was.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Vlad.
Isn't it always? Poor Vlad.
Yeah.
And now they're doing it to this poor person.
Yeah, the Ray's family.
Yeah.
But I gotta be honest, the ground breathing, hard
Those
pass. Hard
Mhm.
pass.
Mm-hmm.
Well, don't look behind you.
Mm-hmm. Also, it just kind of graces over this little tidbit, but the body that was, the skeleton that was found later, like the grave that was dug up, the skull and the other bones were like set like a pirate's flag, you know, like the two bones are crossed and then the head was on the top. That's fun.
Yeah,
That's
What's
creepy.
that about?
Did anybody
Nope.
wind up finding?
They never found out who that skull and
Belonged
bones
to?
belonged to. Yeah,
Really?
unmarked grave.
That's a shame.
Yeah, creepy.
You would think that they would, I don't know, try and DNA test that or something.
yeah,
Why
Something
not?
to get it.
or it just, I think, you know, like the legend was born.
Okay,
told
but what about
differently
the
each
part
time.
where they're like, "I dare you to touch his headstone"? Of course, the headstone is
Mm.
cold. It's a
Mm.
headstone.
I think the headstone makes your hand, like you take your hand away and your hand is cold. I don't know.
I wouldn't be shocked about that.
I know. I don't know. I guess it's
But
still
as a kid, I mean,
creepy.
maybe.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
As
Also,
a
like,
kid, I would crap my pants.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the whole concept of like dogs that won't go by the house, like they say that dogs can sense things. So like, obviously.
Yo, I think we've talked about this when your dog just like stares off and you're like, what are
Mm.
you looking at?
What you doing there,
Yeah.
buddy?
I have a dog that does not bark at anything. Does not bark. Like the first time we heard him bark, we had him for like 6 months.
Mhm.
And I brought him outside. This is kind of creepy, but not like a creepy story. I brought him outside like a week ago. It's late at night. My fiance was not home. And he is losing his ever-loving shit just doing the perimeter, right? So again, I actually live in the woods. And I was like, what the hell is that? Shine my flashlight. It's a mama bear and her 3 babies right there on the edge of my fence. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to shit myself in the house. Let's go.
Just out
So
for
when a
an
dog
evening
tells you
stroll.
something, you got to listen. You got to listen.
I'm just think, again, you're going to hate me and you're going to interrupt me and you're going to be like, next story, shut up. All right. But, when you look into urban legends, right? A legend by definition is something that's like based on facts, right? It some part of this did happen, but then because it's like orally passed around so many times, you brought up like the game of telephone,
Yeah.
right? It gets warped so badly. We have no idea what part of this is true.
Yeah.
Okay. It's never been written down. Nobody knows where this came from. So we're never going to be able to prove it. Okay. But this family has, I was like, do you need to get that?
No, I heard that too.
I can wait. I don't know was that me?
I don't know.
Because I do have my
Must be.
iPad.
No, it totally was my phone.
Okay, my bad.
Sorry, guys. Katie,
like-
you can cut that.
Sorry. I heard a bing and I was like,
Whoopsies.
Jesus.
yeah. Or Lucifer?
Well, kind of fun
I
and
lost my
ties
train of
into
thought.
what you were saying is
Okay.
like, it's very loosely usually based on something that is truthful. There are actual files on the family that this is based on. So that there is some truth to the lore, but it makes it spookier if you don't know about that.
Right. But I would want to like look back into that and see, because what part of this is culturally based? Like what is it that, again, teach your brain, right? What is it that we're supposed to learn? Because when I've looked into urban legends and the study thereof, right? Some say that discovering the truth behind the urban legend is more important than the legend itself. Like, because these things are based on society, or the messages behind them are based on societal values and fears and prejudices. So it makes me think, I'm like, okay, who is this person representing at the time?
Yeah.
Like,
You know what's interesting about that? And I'll just throw this out there because it's actually a really creepy, truthful
thank you for not
fact.
being like,
No.
Okay.
So this is kind of crazy. So this story.
We're in the woods,
right?
Deena.
Right, exactly. But actually this makes it really creepy because this is actually what happened with this family. Is this family all were very, very sick, right? And what they thought was consumption. So they
I literally was about to be like tuberculosis.
Exactly. But at the time they didn't know what tuberculosis was,
Right.
but it was literally ravaging. Anyway, these towns, right? And they didn't understand it. And someone in their village was like, oh, you need to dig up the person that made all these other people sick
Patient zero?
and drink their blood because they thought that it would cure them. So when the last yes,
Just pause. Can we just
Yep.
travel back in time?
Yes.
And
Shan't
ask
we?
these people, why did you think that was a good idea?
I think they were they were terrified. They didn't understand what was happening. Science was not a thing. They
Right.
didn't
No,
know.
I get that. But
But I mean, everyone else died in their family and the last son became ill. And so they decided it would help
he
the
needed
village.
to drink the blood.
They needed to dig up the last buried person that had died. And he did die, after
Shocking.
digging
Obviously.
that blood. But that's kind of like that whole leave the dead buried and the whole
Yes.
the ground breathing and all
Leave
this
the
stuff.
dead alone.
Exactly. Like I think that is kind of where that lore and that urban legend really came into play because they did exhume the body from the ground and then
Ew.
You know,
No, I don't know.
hey, and there's like news articles about it because it was like a big deal. Like, oh my gosh, I think we figured out how to cure this.
Drink blood.
Let's just drink the blood of the person that had it.
That's the
Throwing it out there. If it's in the person and you drink their blood, what
Won't
do you
you
think's
get
gonna happen?
How it's gonna get you to?
You know, this reminds me of the doctor in My Lady Jane. When she's like strapped to the table and I don't even remember what he was gonna. I think he was big into feces, right?
Mhm.
And she was just like, "Get off of me!"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna vomit."
Well, that whole bleeding you, right?
Yeah,
like that was like the answer for
Bloodletting.
everything. Like, I
Yeah.
must bleed you. You must bleed. And then they put like leeches on them, which leeches actually do have
some benefits,
healing,
yeah.
right? But it is not for most things. It does not work. It doesn't work.
I think this is why so many times, like, we're like, "Oh my god, I'd love to go back in time." No, no, I do not.
No, I watch Outlander and like
And you're
I've read the
good.
books. And yes, does it always come back to Outlander? Of course.
Yeah.
But I think of like when they're going down on each other and I'm like, that you've
Stop.
been on a horse for a week. Like there's
Mm.
just no way.
They don't have showers.
They wash in a stream full of algae.
But
And they're
what
like,
if-
let's do it.
But what if there's no stream?
They're just rank and stank and they're going for it.
Yeah, because they don't know anything else. I
I
think
would
I
that's
don't
it,
want to
right?
go back in time.
No.
I'm not even going to comment on that, but I would survive all of one day.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't find myself to be like a prim and pris kind of girl. I can rough it.
Yeah.
I'm a Spartan.
I mean, we're in the woods right now, so
Yeah. There's no
Obvi.
toilet.
Avi, you brought flashlights.
yeah. I just
Okay.
gotta.
Yeah.
I want to keep the creepiness going.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I want to tell you guys another story
And who'd you hear
And-
this from?
from my mother's friend's hairdresser's dog walker's brother sister.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Thank you. Okay. Actually, this one's a little bit weird. There's something about this, and we'll talk about it when I'm done, that is very off-putting to me. But have you guys ever heard the story of the faceless people of Monroe?
No.
Dear Lord.
Okay. So you're not alone because most of the people in Fairfield County, they pretend that they haven't either. And they'll say this is just a story. But
Wait, you said Monroe,
Monroe,
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
So where Ed and Lorraine Warren lived.
Mm.
A lot going
Okay.
on over there. Okay.
All right. So most people say this is just a story, but if you drive the old back roads near Stepney after dark, you pass the stone walls and the crooked trees, you'll notice that there's something a little bit strange. There's no houses, just the woods and no lights. And then somewhere in these woods, hidden behind a very rusted gate full of tangled vines, there is a house that doesn't show up on any map, and the locals call it the House of the Faceless People. And it's one of those houses that when you look at it from the road, you think there's no way that someone could possibly still be living in there. And they say that it used to belong to a quiet family. Never came into town very much. They never spoke to anyone. And the story goes that they had children who were different because they were born without faces. No eyes, no nose, no mouth, just smooth, pale, waxy white skin that looks like it never hardened.
Well, that's why they're quiet.
Uh-huh. And some people say that this is a curse. Curse from the witches, a curse from whomever. Others say that it was a result of something that happened deep into the woods, something that the townspeople weren't supposed to know about and weren't supposed to see. When the family stopped showing up in town altogether, folks figured they'd probably moved away. But late at night, people driving by that stretch of road started to report very strange and odd things. One man swear that he saw something standing in the middle of the road, and as he got closer, he realized it was a person. Right where the trees started to crowd in, a small, pale, and motionless person. He slammed on the brakes. His headlights would normally blind the figure, and he figured that's why it was just standing there. When he leaned forward to get a better look, he realized it didn't have a face, not even a mouth to scream with. He threw the car in reverse, tore out of there, and when he got home, There were tiny handprints all over his back window, small, tiny ones smudged in gray dust, almost like they were covered in soot. Other stories say that there's a caretaker, an old man, perhaps the father of these children, who still lives near the property, keeping people away. He drives a beat-up pickup truck and watches from the tree line. And if you get too close, he'll pull up behind you, flash his lights into yours until you leave. And if you don't, then the faceless ones, they'll come out. They move silently, and they can't see the way that we do, but they do see you because they feel you instead. And if they touch you even once, you'll wake up days later with the memory gone, like your mind's been wiped clean, with tiny little bruised handprints all over your body. Some people say if you drive those woods at midnight and you stop your car, you might see them watching you from the trees. Sometimes you'll see nothing, but when you turn on your brights, you'll catch a glimpse of smooth white skin and shadows that scatter just a second too late. Nobody really knows who they were or what they are now, but if you're ever driving through Monroe and your headlights flicker, don't stop, don't look out the window, and if you see a shape on the side of the road, for the love of God, don't roll your window down, because you might just see your own reflection without a face. Dun, dun, dun.
Why?
Isn't that creepy?
Why would my reflection not have a face?
Because their skin is like waxy. So maybe they're just saying like, you never know. You never know what these things
Does
are.
that mean I could turn into one?
Is it like a curse? Like if you
know.
see them, then
That's
your
what they
face goes
think.
away?
They don't know if it's a curse. They don't know what it was, but they had multiple children like this.
Are they
Wow.
all children? Or
Well,
are there
They've
adult
probably
faith-
grown,
Yeah.
but I don't know. And they live in the barn, so they don't live in the main house. They live in the barn on the side. And people say it's like an old decrepit barn. And if you drive through late at night, you can see like candlelight flickering through the slats of the wood because it's so old and run down.
Ooh.
No, I don't like it.
No, I don't like it either. No faces.
I don't
on-
love it.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Wait, they don't have eyes?
Nothing. No eyes, no nose, no mouth.
That's why I'm saying,
Smooth,
I'm like,
pale
well,
skin that looks waxy.
that's
I
why
don't
it's
like
quiet.
it. I don't like
And
it.
again, this is why like the pitch black of the woods. And when things actually go quiet in the
Mhm.
woods, and I mean like that silent type, like
Yeah.
you don't hear like a breeze, you don't hear like insects, nothing. Silence.
That's the Appalachian folklore, right?
I
If
know,
you hear
yeah, it
complete
totally-
silence.
It totally is, but it's like you hear that, and then there's something like that out there. Forget it. Like you're
Mhm.
done.
No,
you are
sir.
so done.
I don't like
Like
it.
pray to whatever you pray to, because you only got seconds left.
And the fact that
How are you
like,
supposed to communicate
these
to that?
stories are
Sorry.
kids, I don't think you do. But like the little bruises on your body, if one of them touches you,
I bruise like a
then-
peach.
me same, girl, same.
Mm.
I don't
And the
underst-
story of the guy's
I don't-
window,
No, that actually freaked me out, because then I just pictured little hands.
little hands all over,
Right.
crawling over the back window like it was trying to get into the car.
This is my take. I don't like things that are scary when it involves children or dolls.
Don't become a teacher.
I think maybe that's why I didn't become a teacher. There was a moment I was going to be an art teacher, and then I was like, I don't know.
They're everywhere.
Kids are creepy when they're in scary things or stories. Like I don't know what it is. I think because like you think of children.
Well, now I just think of weapons. So.
Well, yeah, and they were
Same.
innocent in that too. They were, they just were doing what they were being forced to do under.
Don't
Not
give
that you
them
guys
away.
have,
Spoiler
but-
alert.
the beginning of the Ozman Cometh CD or like album, the beginning is there's all these little kids laughing on a playground and the swings swinging. And it, to me, is still terrifying. Like, I remember my dad listening to that album and I was like, this is too scary. Turn it off.
You know, they always.
The voice from our head.
The melon heads.
The melon heads are coming for us.
You know, people get really freaked out by the little kids singing the song in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh,
You know,
100%.
Freddy's coming for
hands
you.
down. I avoid little kids in scary movies because of that reason. Like anytime there's like a little kid singing us, nope, I'm good. Thanks, I'm good.
I don't know. I guess, well, as a teacher, I guess like it's never really bothered me. It's not
Yeah.
comforting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It is freaky, but like I don't know. There's just something about that story that definitely just irks me. But I think it's more the fact that it's like if they were to step out of the dark right now, and to me, I can't even communicate with something.
Mm-hmm.
And like, to me, it's just like, you just know you're done. I'm like, nope, I don't like that. I don't
Game
like that
over.
at all. Yeah, exactly. I need a fighting chance.
It feels very like an Alien to me, right? Like,
Yes.
you know, remember like when we were younger and aliens were
Fictitious.
kind of commercialized and yeah, just commercialized.
The green
But-
guys.
The green guys, but like you'd
Mhm.
always have that like this, like the scary alien movies would be faceless, eyesless, noseless, like mouthless creatures, and that's what that reminds me of. And that to me is so, there's something so off-putting about it because you can't communicate with it.
Yeah. You can't explain it, which
Yeah.
is, I think, part of the problem. I think as humans, we try to rationalize and explain what we're seeing. But when you're looking at something that doesn't make sense and there's no scientific reason for what you're seeing, you're just like,
Yeah, your brain can't
like,
comprehend
what is happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Amanda, you had said that you said something about like dolls one time, you know, that you had always like maybe emotionally attached. No, how did you say
well,
it?
my stuffed animals.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the fact that
you
like, my
like-
stuffed animals, I thought always it was like Toy Story in my brain. They all
Yeah.
had feelings, and when I walked out of the room, they were animated.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the way you had worded it was so nice that you like had kind of like imparted emotion towards them that, you know, you were just like, I had to make sure that they were all, you know, equal and that
Yeah.
they were feeling okay and this, that, and the other thing. And I was just like, wow, I never looked at things like that. But to me and to you, that made dolls scarier, right? I never did that. So like to me, a doll couldn't take on that form because I could compartmentalize that they weren't really real,
Yeah.
right? But to me, the not being able to communicate and to not be able to maybe like debate my way out of something or talk my way out of something, like that is the most terrifying thing in the world to me. And I don't know, maybe it's just the person that I am, but I feel like, give me a minute. I can talk my way out of this. You know what I mean? I can rationalize somebody. And maybe that's just because of what I do on a daily basis that I'm like, calm down. We can work this out.
Yeah.
You know what I
We
mean?
got this.
Right?
Like, tell me what's wrong.
yeah.
I'm here. Okay. And then something comes at me that can't speak, that can't listen. Nah.
Hard
That
pass.
is you just got like so into my head. Like I'm going to be awake for the next at least 48 hours
Yeah.
thinking about this.
Well, we're in the woods, so
Thanks. Can't wait to
You're
be alone with my thoughts. But you also said something that was really interesting. You said something about witches in your story. There was a curse with this family.
they think that maybe it was a curse from them offending a witch, which made them become recluses, and their children that they all gave birth to were born without faces.
Kind of wild how much witch talk there is in Connecticut, because I heard something that kind of ties to witches as well, which also makes me think back to our witch trials.
Yeah.
Because Connecticut has so much historical background,
Yeah.
which again, I'm not going to put anybody to sleep yet. We still have plenty of time to stay awake. But, you know, with these cultural connections and stuff, right? I know Dayelle and I were joking around that we think it's fun. It's a fun little fact that Connecticut is called what?
The nutmeg state.
The Nutmeg State. Did you know that?
It's very
Little-
romantic.
Little
I know.
nutmeggers. Yeah.
It's perfect for this time of year.
Yeah. But, you know, they also have what's called Yankee ingenuity. Did you know that?
I didn't.
That's a fun thing, especially,
Yeah.
you know, since that's our baseball team.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, just kidding. I know nothing about baseball. Probably other than we have a team called the Yankees.
Yeah.
I do. I'll lay it on you, but
Yeah.
they were not always the Yankees. But that's okay. That's okay. We'll keep going. We'll keep going.
Anyhow, but, you know, the only thing I really knew about Connecticut is because my mom and I went to Mystic. Like, I went to,
Yeah.
like, the Mark Twain house, Harriet Beecher Stowe's house, like, right next door. I was like, oh, my God, this stuff is so
Cute.
cool.
Yeah.
And then we discovered these witch trials, and we talked about Hannah Cranna, right? Well, then I discovered something that I thought was going to be funny, and then it's really not so funny, guys.
Oh.
Yeah. It kind of
Oh.
reminded me of your story. Have you guys heard of the Melonheads?
No.
See, this is why I thought it could be funny, because automatically I'm thinking of that candy lemon heads.
Oh, yeah. I just think of a person with a cantaloupe on their head.
I just, you know, sitting where we are right now, guys, I wouldn't be saying these things too loud. You never know
Okay, just kidding.
who's listening or what's listening.
I don't like it.
I'm just saying. So we're going to picture, I mean, you can't even imagine we're in the woods. We're in the woods.
Yeah.
I heard the way this story goes is that it takes place in Fairfield County, Connecticut. And it has something to do with an old blue Ford Granada car. I don't even know what that looks like. So
Either.
I'm already
I
on the
do.
outs.
It's imagine an old Lincoln, the like really long, boxy forward, like the nose of the car super long. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I had a station wagon back in the day that had like the wood paneling on the side.
Yes. Imagine that, but the back end is super long too.
Okay.
That's very
not a station
urban
wagon.
legendy.
Yeah.
It is.
Well,
It really
great.
is. A
So-
long car
So now I'm
area.
already in it. I'm
Mhm.
already part of this story. Okay. So it just looks like a car from the 80s, right? But headlights flickering through this fog that's rolling in. But if you look close inside this car, the faces, they don't seem quite human. So I heard it all started in the 1980s, where these 6 girls from Notre Dame High piled into one of their Granadas one Friday night after a football game. And isn't this how every story starts, right? They're laughing. They want to go out. They want to have a nice, memorable night out. So they drive out to this street called Velvet Street, which is better known to the locals as Dracula Drive. I know. Kind of reminded me of your story, Dale. It was one of those roads that barely shows up on a map, a single lane of cracked asphalt winding through miles of woods. The kind of road that looks fine in daylight but feels wrong once the sun drops. So everyone in the area had heard the whispers that the woods around Dracula Drive were home to some sort of creature called melonheads. Some people said they were mutants. Others said possibly demons. But the most common story, at least the one people whispered the most, was that they were leftovers. So allegedly, during the 1600s, there was a family accused of witchcraft in the area. And the Puritans drove them out, banishing them to the forest to die. But they didn't die. They built rough shelters out of sticks and stones, learned to hunt, and survived on whatever the forest gave them. And apparently whoever wandered too close. Without contact with the outside world, their family kind of became a little twisted. Generation after generation of isolation warped their bodies and their minds, and allegedly their skulls began to swell. So their heads literally kind of started morphing. They had these oversized heads, these bulging veins, and their eyes were set too far apart, mouths wide and wet and full of small, sharp teeth. But there's also another version. That in the 1960s, there was an asylum in Fairfield County, a real one, for the criminally insane. Officially, it burned down in 1960, but when the fire was out, authorities discovered that not every patient had perished. 10 to 20 inmates were never found, and people said they escaped into the woods. Half burned, starving, terrified. The winters were brutal, and they did what they had to do to survive. Some say they even turned on each other. Some say they found the old witch family's descendants. That would be a twist. By the time spring came, something new lived in those woods, something that learned to breed, hunt, and hide. Over time, the melonheads grew smaller but tougher. Their skin turned pale from living under the trees, stretched tight across their swollen skulls. Their clothes rotted away, replaced by scraps of cloth and animal hides. Their eyes took on a glow, orange or red, depending on the story. Some say it's from the reflection of firelight. Others that it's a sign of the madness still burning inside them. Their limbs are thin, but they move fast. Some say their laughter sounds like children playing, right until you realize it's coming from the trees above you. But anyway, let's go back to the night in the 1980s. The girls parked their Granada at the edge of the woods, giggling as they called out to whatever might be hiding in the dark. The air was cold, the kind that carries every sound. The woods were silent. Then came the sound of the car door slamming shut. The engine started, the headlights flared, and the Granada came hurtling down the road toward them. The girls screamed, they dove into the brush, and for a split second, they saw whatever it was that was behind the wheel. It wasn't children, it wasn't adults. They were something in between, faces bloated and smooth like wax. Huge heads gleaming in the light, eyes burning orange. They were howling with laughter. As the car flew past them, one of them turned his head and grinned, a mouth of sharp, broken teeth, glittering in the light. The Granada disappeared into the night, and the girls never saw it again. Some say the car still rides those back roads, the melon heads behind the wheel, still cackling through the dark. These days, the legend lives on in a different way. People post shaky videos online, clips of glowing eyes in the woods, distorted faces caught in headlights. Others claim their car stalled out on Velvet Street and they heard giggling from the tree line. A few say they've seen the Granada itself, rusted but running, its engine growing like it's possessed. Its engine growling like it's possessed. Every generation has its version of the Melonheads. They're not just monsters from an old story. They're a warning about cruelty, about what happens when people are cast out and forgotten, about what we become when the world stops looking at us like we're human. So if you ever find yourself on a dark road in Fairfield County, your phone's dead, and the woods start to feel too quiet, keep your headlights on and your windows up, because if you see that blue Granada in your rearview mirror, you won't have time to wonder who's driving it.
Ew! I hate that.
Okay, I have to show you this because
it ended like yours, though.
This is what I was thinking.
The turnip! It's the turnip!
No.
Yes, but like
it's
literally
the original jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But like the way you're describing it, I'm like, oh my God.
Yay!
Oh my God.
I knew
Big head,
That's
sharp
horrible.
little teeth, like literally.
That could have been a melon head. Maybe that's the OG.
Maybe. I don't know. That was maybe
That's
the creepiest.
Jack of the Lanterns.
I think that was the creepiest.
That was the creepiest. I hated that.
Like
most.
the long limb, like that whole nope with that head.
And
I'm
laughing
sorry.
in the trees. No.
Yes,
No.
but
Absolutely
you know
not.
why I think it's the
Immediately no.
creepiest? Immediately no. Immediately no. But
Immediately no.
please tell me you've seen Wrong Turn.
Yes.
Yes.
Because right there, that's what I pictured.
Yes.
And I mean, totally could have inspired that, whatever. Like they don't have the head
Yes.
shape of this story and stuff. But that movie, the first time I saw it, scared me so bad. Just the concept of that.
Yes.
Something in the woods, this family like living there, off the grid. I think it's why
terrifying.
the concept of even camping sometimes like really does disturb me sometimes because it's great.
Are you guys camping
But-
people?
I like it.
So I grew up.
But yeah.
Depends for how long.
I grew up being a camping person, but I never liked it. That's not true. I love the campfire telling stories aspect, the marshmallow stories.
Hence this entire podcast.
Yeah. But the actual like sleeping on the ground in a tent and you wake up and everything's wet because it was like dewy. I don't know. Yes, there are aspects of camping I really enjoy, but there are also other aspects that I did not. And as a child, like we always went camping. So it was like part of anytime we went anywhere, we went camping to do it.
Got
it. And my dad was a huge camper and like, real camping, not glamping. There was no running water. There were no toilets, so like the older we got, the more we were like, can we have a toilet that flushes instead of a hole in the ground that we have to put dirt on top of?
How long would you go for?
Weeks at a time.
See, that's a lot. And that also requires so much packing and preparation.
Yes.
I never went camping for more than like a night or two. So I know that still counts in my book.
Absolutely
But
does.
it's not the same. I do have a good camping story though.
Lay it on me.
So my friends in college lived in Binghamton. Well, it was just really a friend, but like we would all meet in Binghamton like once a summer, so we could all see each other because we were all from different parts of New York.
Yeah.
And his family had a lot of property, so we would take 4-wheelers into the property to go camp. And he would have like the whole area like cleared and stuff. The tents would already be set up. Like I literally just had to show up. And being where I'm from, right? 65 miles like outside of the city, to them, I'm a city person, right? So they're like, oh, yeah, you're right. Set it up. That's fine. I'll show up with my liquor and my whatever. And I'm just like, I'm here.
I'm here for the good time.
Exactly. I'm here for the good time, not anything else. Okay. But I also am not used to this. So again, not realizing how dark it gets, you know, outside of your camping area, past like the fire lit spot. Okay. So I'm like, this isn't so much fun. This is kind of creepy. I have to go to the bathroom. What do you mean I have to go out there? It's dark. Okay. So slightly intoxicated. I go to the bathroom. I am like, no, there's something out here. Hurry up. So pee very quickly, and I start to take off running backwards, not backwards, but back to the area, and do not realize that one of the lines for the tent is like there as I'm running back because you know you can't see it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, trip over it, go flying head first towards the fire.
Cool.
Oh my God.
Literally stop on the ground, like right in front of the fire. So at this point, I'm like losing my mind. I'm like, oh, this is too dangerous. I can't do this. At the exact same time, we hear people coming towards us from the dark in the woods. I'm not exaggerating. And so my friend is just like, oh, and my friend's like a big dude. Okay. He's a big, like, linebacker looking like football player that owns this land. Okay. And he's like, who's there? And all of a sudden he pulls out like a shotgun. And I'm like, what in the world? You know, like, where did that come from? Yeah.
Dina's like, thank God I just peed because I would be peeing in my pants right now. I'm glad I've just eliminated.
Also, did you see me pee? Like, were you out there watching that happen? Like, apologies. No, different direction. Okay, just to clarify. So I'm also like, where did that just come from? You had this whole time. Like, I didn't know. Anyway, they're coming towards us, okay? Not direction I came from. So they start like mouthing off to each other. There's like two bigger guys coming towards him. And he's like, this is my property. What are you doing here? And the two guys are like, yeah, we don't care, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, oh my God, we're going to die. This is it. This is how I go. And then all of a sudden they just start laughing and hugging, found out they were brothers.
They knew each other.
Yep.
A lot.
I hate them.
Yep. Wasn't
They're
funny.
a bunch of melon heads.
Yep. Literally almost started crying. And he was like, oh, come on. I never let anything happen. And I was like, shut up. Give me that Bacardi and don't ever talk to me for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Not
To
cool.
the face. Yeah.
Not cool.
That was the
Give me
last.
that Bacardi.
And that was
That's how I
all
know
she
it was
remembered
college.
for the rest of the. Yeah, right? Can you imagine doing that now? Nope.
No.
That's all
Coma.
I remember for the rest
So
of that night.
what you're saying is we need to plan a camping trip.
I think we're at the level of glamping.
I was just going to say, but it won't be camping. It will be glamping.
Yeah.
My
not be
brother-in-law and my
happy.
sister have a nice brand new camper. I'm sure that he would let us put it in my parents' backyard like we're 12 and we could go inside and use the toilet.
I'm here for this.
Bathrooms are important.
Yeah, none of these creatures,
Yeah.
things, whatever we talked about, respectfully, I don't feel like they would come in and bother us. They would stay outside.
Yeah. I think a lot of all these stories very much seem like if you leave them alone, they're not going to bother you.
But we're in their space.
Very true, which, you know, that is probably where these stories have come from, you know, people experiencing things because they were in their space.
What if we just surround our camp area with salt?
That works for witches.
I'm bringing every
right?
goddamn gemstone I have.
Vampires.
I am
Not according
salt.
to Supernatural. I mean, they use it for everything.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
That's true. The Morton's girls got our back.
You know, the dark of the woods does not scare me at all. So I would be
Me
fine.
either.
Okay, so what I hear Dayelle saying is
Yeah.
if we hear anything, we send her to
Yeah.
go look.
I don't get
I'll
scared
look.
in the dark. Yeah.
I don't
Dark-
either.
dark
But here's the
doesn't
thing.
scare me.
I also am not a good person for you to do this with because I like to be scared. So I'd be like, oh, I'll go look. And I love being scared. So the worse it would get, the more I would try to make you guys think, oh, no, it's fine. So that I could continue on my journey. I am not a partner in this position here.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not understanding what you're saying here because I also enjoy being scared, as we
Yeah.
all know, but I'm not going out there.
Yeah,
well,
but
we're
like,
already here, so we have to.
That's
we just have
right.
to.
Okay. We're already
Okay.
in the woods.
Okay, but if we're glamping and we're in something, there's something called a window. I can very easily look
Oh, no,
out of
like-
it. I don't have to go out there.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Like, you guys go ahead. I'm gonna be right here. Okay, bye.
Yeah. Okay. I guess.
Look,
that
you're making me
makes
bite my
sense.
nails. Like, stop it. What are you talking
Sorry.
about? I'm gonna have to look at your family and tell them what? I left you behind? Stop it.
Oh, my mom would be like, God, of course.
Of
This
course
is how
she
she
did.
goes.
Yeah.
She did. Yeah. I've slept in like open fields at night.
Yeah.
Same. Pine Bush High School field parties, middle of the night,
Okay,
all
but
night
that's
long.
not Appalachia. Yeah.
That's true.
I don't have anything to say.
That's true.
Fair.
I mean, because like I'm a go
wait.
big or go home. Like I would love to go camping in Appalachia, but
but
like we need protection here, people.
my-
We need to plan this right.
So my dad has done this where you sleep along the trail and you sleep in a 1-person tent.
Mhm.
But like as in like the sleeping bag is the tent. So you
Oh,
like
yes. I know
enclose
exactly what you're
yourself
talking
because
about.
you don't want your pack to be super heavy, so it's an all-in-one thing. And the concept of that terrifies me because it is so claustrophobic because you can't move.
Mm.
And
I'm
you
with you.
sleep.
That's too scary to me.
Like,
I couldn't do
what?
that.
Like,
So-
I'm sorry, that's terrifying.
You know what you can also do is sleep in your car.
I mean, but if you're hiking, you won't have a car.
That is true.
Sleep in a stranger's car.
Yeah.
Find a Ford Granada.
Fair.
Climb.
Yeah, we
Or
can
in a
sleep in the
tree.
tree. Yeah, there it is. But bears can climb trees, and Bigfoot doesn't need to
They-
climb because he's like
They
12 feet tall.
can. They can.
Mhm.
Yeah. We used
See,
to
this
have
is,
to. We
this
had
just wraps it up.
yeah. We had the
This is
bags.
our urban legend.
The bear bags that you would have to tie up on the trees with all your food, like anything that you didn't want the bears to get into while you were sleeping, and you wanted to keep it away from your campsite in case bears did come. They would just go for that and
Yeah,
not
yeah.
for your people.
Yeah.
And that was always a fun time.
And this is why I know I will die
Hmm.
because I've seen too many videos of bears being friendly.
Mm.
And
No, I'm a goner.
I know. I mean, you just
I'm trying to
literally,
cuddle it.
you just literally told us about a bear that you
Yeah.
just saw on your property, and I would be so
I know,
curious.
and the babies were so.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't
like they were so fluffy.
don't go
Yeah.
anywhere near those babies though. My mama.
No,
will.
not by mama.
Mama will.
That's what I was scared of.
kill
I'll be
you.
very honest with you. I was not scared of
Yes.
the mom and the babies. I was scared of the fact that they saw my dogs by
Yeah,
their
yes.
babies.
Yeah,
And she would come for the dogs.
yeah, of course.
because they are like they will protect those
And
babies.
the
at
only
all
thing I have
costs.
to protect me in this instance is a flashlight and one of Henry's 247,000 golf clubs that he leaves by the front door, as if that's
Mhm.
going to do something.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's all I've got.
But I just think like if I saw one of these things, anything in
Yeah.
the woods, I don't know, wood, whatever.
Deep into
of-
the wood does.
Yeah, of supernatural entities, you know, cryptids,
Mm.
whatever they might be.
Mhm.
I would just be like, "Excuse me, come here,
Mhm.
selfie." You know, like
Yeah.
I'd want a picture.
Also, this is why Blair Witch Project scared me so bad, right?
Oh, that- yeah.
Because I
Mhm.
do like the woods and like the unseen stuff. So,
Mhm.
I mean, urban legends, like you said, they always start in some sort of semblance of truth or a modicum of something
good
that people
word.
couldn't explain at the time,
Mhm.
right? So, just a little inkling of something, and then of course over time it gets changed. And I do think though, and I'm just gonna say this, this might be a hot take, so shoot me down, but I don't think that we're creating any more urban legends. There are no more new urban legends really being created.
no.
But I think the definition of an urban legend is a story being retold. So like how could you
Sure, but it
recreate
starts, right? So like what are we
Yeah.
starting with, right?
Well,
like
but now
I just think
now everything's on social media, so it has the potential of going viral, right? As we would say, it could start right now
Mhm.
and reach millions of people. It can, and think about how these stories can get warped now
Mm.
so quickly. So we don't
So
have
true.
the potential of a story changing over years. We
Mhm.
have stories changing in the matter of days and
Mhm.
weeks and months, right? Like it's the stories are changing so quickly. But I think they do have potential to start because it's again,
you know what I
it's-
thought of?
okay.
Remember the guy with the Ring camera that just
Mm.
thought of this? Sorry to interrupt.
no
The
what
guy on his Ring camera, a
Mhm.
guy walked out of walked into his shed super young. In like 2 hours later, the same guy, it's visibly the same guy, walks out easily 30 years older and just walks out of his shed.
That sounds like 11/22/63.
This is before AI. This was like 2 years ago, before video AI
It's a
was a
Stephen
big
King
thing.
book.
But I feel like people could edit things.
Sure.
I mean,
But this
yeah.
guy was. It's like, I'll send you guys the clip. It's very creepy.
Yeah. It's like the videos of like people catching, monsters and stuff on cameras where you're like, well, that could
You
be
know what?
it.
But I think that's more the issue now in terms of urban legend is there's more potential for evidence now to disprove something so that legends cannot continue, right? Because the point of all of this is that there's no evidence.
Yeah.
Right? We can't disprove this,
No
so it keeps going,
scientific
right?
evidence. Yeah,
Where's
yeah.
the car? Where are these people? Like, how do we know any of these people exist? Right?
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, everybody's got a phone. Everybody's got something they can take a picture. So there's more possibility that something can be documented, that it's not going to be a legend, so to speak. It's going to be like, nope, that's real, or no, that's not.
Yeah.
You know?
Speaking of real and what's not, next time we're going into.
Oh, I thought you were going to literally be like
real-
Bigfoot.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Where I was like,
Things-
do you see him? Did he come?
Things
We
that
didn't- we-
can't be explained.
We did invite him.
I know he didn't come though. He never comes.
Oh my God. It would have been so fun if he joined us.
Let's keep reaching out. Maybe one day he will come onto the pod.
Can you imagine if he sat down with us?
His people and our people.
Can you imagine the stories he could tell?
We don't know. He could
Or
come.
she.
He could be on the next episode when we're talking about cryptids. He might. We don't know.
Yeah. And where we can really start clarifying what a cryptid is, which does need some clarification from what we've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.